Well, good Sunday evening, everyone. Meteorologist Nathan Kitchens here. Just want to drop by for a few minutes to talk about our current weather situation and kind of what we can expect as we move through the rest of tonight and for tomorrow as well. Because, boy, the weather tonight has been very interesting. You know, a lot of us here, if you're in central Indiana, you're obviously dealing with the snow. Most of us have seen between 2.5 to 4 inches of snow over much of central Indiana. I haven't measured here in a little bit, but I'm near Martinsville, and we've had about 3.5 inches of snow last I measured, but that was about 30 minutes ago. The airport looks like has received so far about 3.5 inches of snow. And where you see the purple bands here on the radar, this is kind of a closer look here to Doppler radar. You notice these deeper purple shadings is where we're seeing some of the heavier banding of snow. So the snowfall rates have been varying quite a bit. You know, you'll look out for a little bit and you'll see those really big flakes coming down. And then in other times, you're just seeing some of those really fine, small flakes coming down where you're kind of in those lighter blue shadings. Starting to see the snow taper a bit here to the southwest, and I think we will start to note as we get towards 1 to 2 a.m., the snowfall rates will start to go down, and we're actually going to see this come to an end during the pre-dawn hours, 3 to 4 a.m. This will all be moving out of here. So this is a quick first hit of snow, and it looks like we're going to be done with another round of snow tomorrow night, which may not be as broad as this band of snow is tonight, but it's looking like there could be a band tomorrow evening that could be much heavier than what it was looking like earlier on the data. So that's definitely something we need to be talking about here, and I'm going to show you more here shortly. But first off, this is a look at the current travel status from the Department of Homeland Security. You know, we have many counties here in central Indiana, you know, where we've been dealing with the most snow. You know, we have snowfall of 3-4 inches in a lot of these counties. You're under this travel advisory where it just means be careful if you're heading out. You know, probably the best, if you can, to just stay home tonight if you're not going to be traveling for work in the next few hours. If you're a third shifter, obviously you kind of have no choice. But areas like Bloomington, areas like Spencer, you're actually in a travel watch, which actually means that travel is only for essentials. You know, if you're traveling, you know, to and from work or, you know, in emergency situations, but don't go out, you know, out to eat at midnight or something like that. You know, not a good idea. That means you're really not restricted from doing that because the county deems that conditions are just too hazardous to be out there. So temperatures right now, they're not that cold, which means the salt is working that the crews are putting down. Temperatures are in the upper 20s. I have 31 here near Martinsville. So the temperature's warming up a little bit. We're going to just kind of hold here the rest of tonight. I think our temperature is going to be right around 30 from now all the way through sunrise. And then we start to warm up tomorrow just a little bit. Look at the warm air to our south. It's actually in the 60s tonight down in Alabama and Mississippi. There's actually going to be some severe weather concerns in the deep south tomorrow. This time of year is actually the secondary severe weather season for the deep south, so it's not that unusual. But again, the system bringing multiple facets of weather, all depending upon where you are in the country. So like I said, there's two separate systems that are impacting our weather. So the first one is right here, right now. It's going to be working its way out of here late tonight. But look off towards Colorado, the panhandle of Texas. This is our second round of snow that will work in tomorrow, later in the day, and as we go into tomorrow night. So again, there is another system that we'll be working through. This isn't the only thing that we're watching. So first I'm going to show you a map here showing you kind of the moisture levels aloft. So we're going to start to note some drier air aloft working in later tonight. And when that happens, what's going to happen is the upper levels of the atmosphere, right around, you know, I would say about 16,000 feet up is where we're producing the snowfall that's falling right now. We're going to start to bring in a dry punch of air within the layer of the atmosphere where the snow is actually forming. Keep in mind, snow doesn't form in the atmosphere at 32 degrees. Snow actually doesn't start forming in the clouds until the temperature reaches at least 14 degrees Fahrenheit. So you have to keep in mind the snow isn't necessarily forming where it's 32 degrees. It's forming in the part of the cloud where it has to be 14 degrees or colder. So we're going to start to work in a dry punch of air in that layer of the atmosphere after about 2 a.m. So what happens is we're going to lose any snow growth or snow crystals are not going to be able to be generated. So you will no longer see snow falling from the sky after about 2 o'clock this morning or tomorrow morning, depending upon how you look at it. But again, the snow will come to an end. Anything that falls will be that low level saturation in the atmosphere that will be just, those super cold water droplets in the form of just some light drizzle. Again, we're not producing snow because that layer of the clouds where snow would form doesn't have moisture. All that moisture is going to be too low in the atmosphere. So it'll just be some drizzle as we're waking up tomorrow, and temperatures will be right around 30 degrees. But that moisture is going to start increasing again tomorrow. And I apologize if I'm getting real technical. I guess I just wanted to kind of explain what's going on. Instead of saying what to expect, let's explain why we're seeing what we're seeing here. So the moisture will start to come back tomorrow with this secondary wave. In fact, this is going to expand and actually develop into a pretty good surface low pressure to our south. We're going to start to bring back some moisture. Yes, some moisture from the Gulf. And with that comes warmer air. Look at our air coming in aloft, coming in from the southwest. So we're ushering in a warmer flow of air. That could be troublesome, for precipitation types, because we're going to see temperatures warm to the mid-30s tomorrow. So it's going to warm up a lot throughout the day. And then that moisture will continue to linger over us in what we call a deformation band as we go into tomorrow night. So here is your dry slot tomorrow night of this next system coming in. But you notice this deformation band right here. And that's going to be a pretty elongated band where we're seeing, precipitation linger for much of the night tomorrow night. So I'm talking about, that next round of snow. And this is going to be kind of a long duration. It's not going to be necessarily all at once, but it's going to be kind of strung out over many hours here from mid-afternoon tomorrow all the way through about sunrise on Tuesday. And then finally, by about sunrise Tuesday, we lose our moisture, and we're going to finally see this whole setup move away from us. The system is going to move away, and we start to work back in a drier atmosphere. Now, when we look at how things look here at the ground, or I should say how things are going to look here when we look at our precipitation that will be falling. So the snow will come to an end right around 2 to 3 a.m. It will not be snowing tomorrow morning, but, obviously there's going to be issues. The roads are terrible right now. We're going to have our main roads becoming just mainly wet, but, there'll still be some slush out there. And certainly your neighborhood roads are going to be tough here. Some areas will wake up to 5 inches on the ground. So it's kind of hard to get out of your driveway. It's that real wet, packy snow, so it's not easy to maneuver around in. It's you're going to be slipping and sliding, especially if you have rear wheel drive. Had some experience with that here when I had my Mustang. So definitely not a good thing to have in this kind of weather. But tomorrow morning is going to be, not bad. I mean, we might have some patches of drizzle, but I think for a while it'll be fine. We'll be dry, and temperatures are going to start warming up a little bit as we go later on tomorrow morning. But then as we go into tomorrow afternoon, here comes that system that I talked about here. We start to see some precipitation expand here by between, I'd say, 2 to 4 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to start to see some rain, Bloomington, Columbus, and Point South, a cold rain, and then we have on the very northern edge. The question is exactly where, but there's going to be a really narrow band starting to set up here around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow, Terre Haute to Martinsville to Indy to around Lebanon here of snow. Temperatures will be above freezing at this point, but there will be wet snow falling, and it could come down pretty hard in a very narrow zone. You see how we get towards 6, 7 p.m. There's a snow band kind of right over Indianapolis here, and then as we go towards, this is be 8, 9, 10. Again, the moisture may decrease a little bit in there, but there's actually going to continue to be, I think, these areas of snowfall and snow showers throughout tomorrow night. And we're going to start to work in some colder air, especially late in the night tomorrow. So we will, even in areas in southern Indiana, where this is mostly a rain event, you will end early Tuesday morning with some backside snow showers and temperatures that will be crashing. So the thing is, you're going to have moisture that freezes. So even in southern Indiana, we need to be on guard Tuesday morning for a refreeze risk. As this moisture starts to exit, the colder air is going to pour in as it is doing so. So temperatures, like I said, around 30 degrees the rest of tonight, but tomorrow's going to warm up. There's going to be a pretty good amount of melting tomorrow, so keep that in mind. The roads are going to be dramatically improved by mid to late morning tomorrow. In fact, we'll have temperatures in the middle 30s here tomorrow, 36 degrees right around 2 p.m. So that snowpack is going to be really compacting. Going to be certainly a good bit of melting. There'll still be snow on the ground, but we're going to lose at least a couple inches tomorrow because of that warmer air. But as we go into tomorrow evening, like I said, we're going to start to see some snowfall work back in as we go towards 3 to 5 p.m. Temperatures still above freezing. So that's one thing working in our favor tomorrow evening, is that temperatures are going to be pretty warm. I mean, 34, 33 degrees. Again, the snow is going to have to come down pretty hard to overcome that warmer pavement out there. But I think as we go throughout tomorrow night, conditions will go back downhill. Temperatures, while they're not going to crash super fast, we will start to note a gradual decrease here. By 9, 10 o'clock, we start to fall at or below freezing tomorrow night. And then as we go deeper through the night, temperatures will cool below freezing. So the thing is, we're going to see those areas of slush, the moisture start to freeze. And you're going to have that snow that was once melting on contact. It will start to stick again on some of those roadways later tomorrow night. As temperatures start to fall, you can see by Tuesday morning we're down actually to about 29 degrees. And, even down to areas like Evansville, Louisville, you're going to be starting to drop here near freezing by daybreak Tuesday morning. So I think the whole state needs to be on guard here for Monday night for the return of some slick roadways and, some concerns. I certainly think tomorrow evening, we're going to have some restricted visibility. It's going to be really nasty out there, but not necessarily seeing, that snow sticking a whole lot on the roads at first. But I tell you what, this system tomorrow night is definitely looking heavier than what I was talking about earlier. So let's get right to the snowfall and the latest models. Let me get to my right graphic here, but this is the additional snow from the latest GFS model that just came in. This is starting at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and this goes all the way through Tuesday morning. So this is suggesting, again, this doesn't even include the snow for the rest of tonight. This is only for tomorrow afternoon through early Tuesday. This model puts down 6 inches of snow in Indy tomorrow night. And you can see where the band kind of sets up here from Terre Haute, Indy, Muncie. Pretty much right in that zone, looks to be. And that's kind of the same story on all the models here. Here is a higher resolution model, which honestly, I can't really disagree with it. I think it's done a good job with this system. And, I think it's got a pretty good handle on this round of snow tomorrow night. Again, there's this really narrow band. There's this really narrow band that tries to set up here somewhere near Terre Haute, maybe towards Monrovia, Indy, Muncie. Again, a very narrow band where we could have, 4, 5, maybe even some cases over 5 inches of snow being laid down tomorrow night. And, just north of that, we kind of see a band of about 2 to 4 inches up to Lafayette, Kokomo, and even near Fort Wayne. But then another very sharp cutoff down to the south. I mean, it could be a world of difference between even Bloomington and Martinsville tomorrow evening, between just a cold rain in Bloomington and a snow that's coming down, at the beat of the band here in parts of, let's say Martinsville to Indy to Terre Haute. So there's going to be a big difference in conditions tomorrow night depending upon where you are. So that's kind of like what we saw tonight, When we look at our current radar, before I go real quickly, I just want to mention that, conditions have varied widely this evening. If you're in the extreme southern part of the state, you pretty much have missed out. Down there, you're seeing pretty much all rain, and that will kind of be the same story tomorrow. But, you go just north, Bedford's had about, 2 to 3 inches of snow, while areas down to the south towards French Lick, haven't seen hardly any snow. So there's a world of difference, and just, you even go just about 5-6 miles, it can be at a difference from the ground being totally white to it just being, nothing on the ground and conditions just being wet. So there has definitely been a very fine line. I know it's frustrating for you snow lovers out there. I tell you what, it's very frustrating trying to pick out exactly where that line is going to be between the rain and the snow. Obviously, it comes down to the mesoscale, as we're getting into the system, fine-tuning exactly where that's going to be is the toughest part of the forecast. But again, if you're just joining in, watch this video again. I kind of broke down the forecast for the rest of tonight. I kind of broke down the forecast for tomorrow. So make sure you watch this video if you're just joining in. Watch the recorded version of it as I kind of explain in detail what we're going to be seeing unfold over the next really 36 hours or so out there. So again, stay safe tonight. It is definitely a bit slick out there, and have a good night.